Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. So check this out, I managed to get the zoom levels working the correct way again, and it turns out that the Vaulter player actually only has 5 systems owned on our constellation. Or, no, they have 4 owned, because at 5 we would own the constellation. She branched out and started grabbing stuff on other constellations, which means we could totally get control of this food bonus. In fact, we totally will get control of this food bonus in 3 turns. We don't need it, but it's still cool to have. So, we talked a little bit last time, at the end of last time, about buying heroes. Let's buy heroes. I went and looked through all the heroes in the menu here, and I think I figured out the 2 that we want. Now, I would really like to get representatives for the Scientist and Ecologist Party into the Senate. And we actually only have one option of Scientific Senator, and he's an Unfallen Overseer, which works just fine for us, right? He's got the basic food and industry skills, extra resource gathering, bean counter, and obviously like the extra resource gathering skill is significantly better on a political leader. And then we had a couple of options for ecologist senators. There's quite a few ecologist heroes in the group up here. I think we want to go for this guy. Is this the one? No, this is not. Sorry, that guy's a seeker. I wanted you. Here we go. Eli Leandra, a primitive overseer. Now, the idea that he is a representative of the primitive minor factions feels a little bit judgmental to me. But the primitives actually have a really strong governing tree. Lots of food, lots of industry, and at the top of their thing, a bonus to all of your citizens everywhere. As long as they're a political leader. I really, really love personal networking, so I think this guy's a total winner. So, we need to put together, in order to hire these two, 9.7k. Can we do that? That is a lot of money. Oh, maybe. Yeah, actually we'll be fine. So let's go ahead and just sell everything, I guess. I'd rather sell the strategics. If we can hold on to something, it should be the blue cat mold, because we have immediate use for the blue cat mold. And let's hire you and you. Turned out to be a little bit more expensive than I was intending, because buying one hero drove the cost of all the heroes up. But we had enough money to cover it. Okay, do we know which one of you needs to go where? Because unfortunately, we're buying them at level 1, because the Academy is still at level 1. It hasn't been found or powered up yet. You're eventually going to want to just be... Okay, preferably in a place where there are fertile planets and we have unfallen population. Zeturbia has fertile planets. Zeturbia has fertile planet, singular. But Othero doesn't have any fertiles, right? Yeah. So he'll be better off here. Nope, Buratech Seeker is already here. He'll be better off on... No, Dill also doesn't have any fertiles, does it? Does Imex? We could just hold off and have him become the governor of Imex. That is not a fertile world. So no, we're not going to be able to put this guy in a place where there are fertile worlds at all. What about you? Do you have any particular types of planets you'd like to work? I mean, yeah, you're an overseer, so you also would like fertiles. Okay, well, then I guess everybody's just kind of going wherever. Here, we can put Eli Leandra. And down here, we can install the other dude. Baramaxa, which is apparently just what all Unfallen names sound like. Also, I don't think I realized there's a subterranean exploitation here. We might want to just rush that, because if it's antimatter, honestly, if it's anything, we want to get it going as soon as possible. So why don't we just go ahead and rush that, put this in the queue. Alright. Okay, we are developing. And we managed to hold on to our mushrooms, so we can put something else up to level 2. It's just a matter of figuring out which thing should be level 2 first. In theory, it doesn't matter too much, but we probably want it to be a place where we might develop population quickly, that we may send the points of population elsewhere, but also a place where we don't have too many really important things to build immediately. I think we've established a fair amount of the important stuff here. I'm gonna make this a priority. So that's 60 more science, which is still a pretty significant amount in terms of, like, how much we're producing per turn. Yeah, okay. Are we holding out on happiness okay? We are, yeah, we're doing fine. Our laws are still sensible. Yeah, Dirty Hands Act is not, it's not amazing, but it's always just good to have active if you can have it active. And we don't really have anything else that's terribly important. Obviously, it would be cool to run the Star Boogie bill if we had another law slot, just to help our scout meet more minor factions. But given that we're not going to be able to assimilate any of them, it's not totally vital. I think we're good. We're going to want to buy another hero real soon, obviously, as soon as we get a hold of IMEX. But let's worry about that then. Let's take a moment here, develop some resources. Apparently that subterranean deposit there was a source of quadrinics, which is not a thing that we actually need to get on. I might want to reorder that queue a little bit. I mean, Othero still gives us an extra planet for the purpose of things that care about the number of planets we have, but you know what? Yeah, let's not make that a priority. If it was anything that we could already mine, it would be different. Alright, yeah, just build that stuff and we'll figure everything else out later. Okay, the Behemoth. Does the Behemoth hang out at Zeturbia? Does Zeturbia need it? Or does Othero need it more? Othero's going to be pretty productive. Like, these are high industry worlds. But Othero could probably use a push on population, although even once we have our food going, and our food's not terrible now, there's just not a lot of hospitable planets here. We don't have a lot of growth room. I think I'm going to leave it around Zeturbia for the moment. So just providing 20 everything except for influence. Working on mission flexibility, so we'll have the extra slots. We can retrofit some new modules in there. Yeah, alright, that is where you live. I do kind of wish that the Behemoths were integrated into the hacking system a little bit more. Like, it would be cool if Behemoths provided extra hacking power or defense on the systems that they were around. Because it seems like you could jam an awful lot of computer into a ship that size, but hacking is from one expansion and the Behemoths are from another, so I get them trying to, like, keep those concerns separate so you don't feel like you have to buy both of those expansions if you want to get the full use of one of the mechanics. It's just kind of like an awkward mechanical thing about the economics of the way 4X games are sold. So we're coming up on another election. I'm not expecting this to be any kind of big surprise. If we lost the scientists in the Senate in favor of the industrialists or something, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I can't imagine that we're in danger of losing the ecologists or the obviously pacifist. The pacifist party is permanently in control of our society. We have too much pacifist ideology in our people. Scientist has fallen behind industrialist and even religious somehow. But the polling is not always perfect. So we'll have that next turn. I do not think that we are going to be able to put together the cost of another hero next turn. Probably not too long after. And then we probably want to grab Zosmanos next. I'm sure the Vultures will take it if we don't, and it has antimatter, and it's the only system that we can see that does. So if we don't want to get completely locked out of antimatter, we should probably make a move here. How's that scout doing? Oh, hey. You arrive. What kind of curiosity is this? Could reveal some guardians. I don't know if I want to do this. I guess we're not too worried about the Hisho, and like, the Hisho having our guardians on the planet makes them less likely to want to declare war on me. It probably is worth doing. And you know what, I guess I'll explore this. If it turns out to be a strategic resource, at least we'll be able to scoop a little bit of it to sell. And yeah, it was an orichalcum deposit. Okay. So Tsing is very developed. Tsing should probably be sending out population. Let's bounce a couple of units of population to Othero. Or to Zeturbia? Hold on. Who needs population more? Who will benefit more? Oh, you know what we should do? We should probably send them to IMEX. Let's, like... Really, our Mediterranean worlds are not hospitable to us. We should fix that. I guess for right now, let's put down on IMEX 2. There's an unknown subterranean curiosity here, which is definitely interesting. And then... Yeah, I guess that, and then food, and we will also send those 2 points of population there. Give that place a little kickstart. What do we want to do here? The exoscience specialization's a little bit less compelling because it's not a cold world. So we could do colonial exchange instead. We're not going to get, yeah, we're not going to get a bonus on any of these except for evolved soils, which we extremely do not need. So I think I'm inclined to just go colonial exchange. We need to be producing more dust. Oh yeah, these are the expeditions we ran. And we have 5 turns left on our academy privileges, so we need to pass out those grants pretty soon. Do we want to... We probably want to put together predictive logistics and then grab these other 2 worlds. I don't know, let's start with this. This is pretty obviously a thing we want to do. What is the rate of gain on the mushrooms? It's pretty fast. Yeah, 8.1 per turn, okay. So next turn we'll be able to do another modernization. We actually have our level 3 modernization available, but since we only have 1 luxury coming in, it's hard for me to know really like what we want to do with it. And we are getting close to being able to run another trade company. I definitely want to wait until we have control of Zosmanos, and then we'll build one of the things here. Probably this will end up being the subsidiary. So once you have multiple trading companies, all of the headquarters can run trade routes to each of the headquarters can run trade routes to each of the subsidiaries. So once we have 2 companies, we have more than 2 trade routes. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to build our subsidiaries like across our empire from the headquarters, just that our routes are traveling the largest number of nodes possible, picking up as many points of resources as they can along the way. And you don't have any movement left. Why are you asking me for orders? How much do these high-tier strategics that we just came into sell for? Not really that much. Actually, way less than this stuff. So if we were going to pick up another guy, what are we thinking? Like, a primitive seeker isn't terrible. I guess, since we already have representatives for the parties, the star trekking instruction skill is not actually going to be useful on anybody else. So maybe... Oh man, his starting governing skill is actually, like, really good, though. I do like overseers an awful lot. What does a guardian give you in the way of system skills? Early industry, and then a large percentage industry boost. That is pretty compelling, actually. And the U-social minor civilizations give approval, food and industry on 1 skill. You know how I feel about that. And then a whole bunch of influence and... Okay, that's a fleet thing. So that's okay. These guys are the scavengers. What do scavengers do for us? Approval, fleet. Minus ship cost, which is, yeah, it's fine. Really, really big food boost. And, oh, that's right, Renegade Master, which is actually awesome. And this is a pretty good initial skill, too. A scaling industry boost. So we could probably get there at, like, I wouldn't be opposed to hiring Ublart Asatius. 3.5k. Could we generate 3.5k? We definitely could, with these being 350 each. Alright, let's do it then. There's no chance I'm going to want to use these for anything other than selling, but we might get a better deal from the other players on that stuff. Let's just do that, buy you, and then, I mean, be ready because we're going to have another system in not that many turns. Okay, so yeah, get some basic stuff built here. I'm actually pretty curious about that. I'm curious in the way that makes me want to rush it. Especially since it's on the world we're already on. Like, we could just be accumulating whatever it is, potentially. Unless, you know, it turns out to be a thing that we can't accumulate. Yeah, so we'll accumulate it unless we can't accumulate it, is what I'm saying. And actually, you should get down here. You should be on the newest system. Athera will be fine, but IMEX is going to need a little push. There's not a lot of food to be had down there. So that's the next thing we want Dust for, is retrofitting the Behemoth, getting it outfitted with the extra modules, and then past that we can start putting Dust into our trading companies, just like buying them more ships and letting them level up faster. Definitely just generate extra food. I know it's not like a lot of food. It's only going to be 10 because there are no fertiles. We might be better off with the population scaling skill, actually, because he's on Dill. You know what, Dill has enough population going that probably we could just go straight to Optimal Operations Expert and we'll come back for this other stuff. It was Adamantium. Okay, that is a good thing to be mining immediately. Alright, unfortunately, we have no luxury deposits here, so Xenotourism Agencies is, like, remarkably bad. But an early Pulvis production is totally fine. Just 100% population-based. And then, obviously, the mining techs or the mining structures are also good. We're bringing in all 3 of our currently mined resources from this system. We need to get the ability to... you know what I should be doing here also? So we're a turn from having another birth, and then probably only a turn or 2 beyond that. We could send more population out to IMEX. What's IMEX's population cap at the moment? Oh, no, we probably shouldn't send more population out to IMEX. It's going to be nearly full. We need... Well, as soon as we finish mission flexibility, we'll start talking about technology for more settlement. So this will get me... Hold on, are we... Damn it, there we go. Zooming all the way out does not show you the things. Okay, so we are now the Constellation owner. We are now getting the extra food. That's really lovely. I really appreciate them splitting their civilization over multiple things. It's possible that they didn't put a lot of effort into taking this stuff over. These might both have been minor civilizations. Like, we know one of them was for sure, right? Alright, you get over there and send some probes out. And so far it seems like the forced peace is holding, right? Nobody has actually managed to spend the influence to cancel it. We have 4 turns left on that. I'm going to wait another minute or 2 here before we... Well, I guess if we're trading for dust, though, we can use the dust immediately to power up our trading company. Do we want to wait for the second one and maybe... Yeah, we probably want to wait for the second one to unlock, and instead of powering up this trading company more, plow the dust into rushing the buildings for that trading company. So I guess let's just hold off. We'll exchange our grants for an inferior sum of cash later. Xenotourism will be a thing here. You know what? Just give me the 60 extra science. We could use some of that. How long are we on this? It's 4 turns to find something up with this fleet? Yeah. Okay, we have the ability to create the new trading company. Guardians and the Galaxy. This is unprecedented, and no anthropologist has been able to offer a credible explanation. There is a massing of unfallen seconds in the Dill system. They are beginning to intertwine and take root together. Not just in the same place, but in the same form, merging into one giant arboreal mass. It appears to be a cultural movement, because the seconds that haven't joined them are building a new community around this thing. Well, great. What now? So, a Guardian Guide. It's like a super Guardian. So we can feed it and have one of our Unfallen grow into some population of Guardian Guides. We could increase our production and get a really fancy plating module, which is fine, I guess. Or we could pay some materials into a thing here and get an empire improvement that makes all of our systems better defended. Honestly, I don't think most of these are very good rewards. This would be okay, although there's a non-zero chance that we will never get into a major war in this game with our ability to force peace on people and everything. So I guess this is a thing. The Guardian Guide is definitely more useful than a point of Unfallen population in a developed system, because the Unfallen are just giving us food. So I guess that's the way to go. It's not going to be easy necessarily to generate 50 more food in that system. Well, you know what? I guess we have a lot of planets here. We're going to continue growing Unfallen. Maybe it won't actually be very difficult. All right, I think this is probably where we want to put the trade company headquarters. Obviously, the trade route between this node and this node is going to be pretty crummy, but when we put a subsidiary on Zosmanos and these two nodes are running trade out to there, it should be pretty good. So what is the buyout cost on that trading company? Because I don't really... I guess there's no sense in rushing this until we're ready to build the thing down here, right? Let's take a look at our economic behemoth, the upgraded design here, see how many... We gained 2 module slots. And we can replace those old busted modules with this that is just flat better. So if we do it like this, we're looking at an upgrade cost of 1,700 dust from the past design, which we can totally put together. This shouldn't be a problem at all. Should be easy enough. Like, this stuff is so valuable. Alright, and then we need one more... Oh, no, we totally have... Huh, I thought we needed one more tech before we could build a second behemoth. Well, that being the case, I think that's probably what Sing is doing next. Yeah, we can delay the unions for this. I think that's a pretty valuable thing to get out. We'll let Pulvis production finish, because it's almost done, and it's a fair amount of dust. And then... So 3 turns on this, then we want to rush the production of the headquarters so that we can start on the subsidiary. I have 2 hacks running into their empire, which is hopefully going to get us some more sleeper population, and thus more of their dust as well. And we've only gotten 1 notification of being compromised, which is nice. Okay, so we need... Well, we have the ability to move up into the mining of more difficult resources. Is it Quadronix that we have a deposit of? It is Quadronix. So the Quadronix mining tech is on the same... The Quadronix mining is on the same technology as microwave pipes, which is definitely my favorite building. Hard to imagine we don't want to grab this pretty soon, but we might want to go after stuff like rare earth foams real quick. Just like get a couple of colonization things that we don't have yet. In fact, the cost of this is less than the tech surplus from our last thing. So we'll take that. And what else do we need to be able to colonize? What would be really helpful? Desert ash. Sing has a lava world, is that right? Yeah, desert ash lava. Lava. And Zosmanos has a lot of hot stuff. Also lava. Lava is actually like a huge... but the ash world is where the antimatter deposit is. So lava and ash are big. Well, lava and ash are both over here, right? In atmospheric filtration. This gives us ash, and then maximized exploitation gives us lava. So what if we do it like that? It says it'll take 5 turns to get maximized exploitation, but remember, we'll get a significant discount on this for having atmospheric filtration. So I think this is our tech push for now. We're not advancing really for the moment. We're just kind of going back and filling some holes here. If we were to get properly attacked, if somebody were to declare actual war on us, we would be in some trouble, to be clear. Like, we do not have a lot of military technology, and we don't have the ability to get a lot of new military technology quickly. But I'm hoping that we can just make friends. You know, let's all just be friends here. So we have all that stuff going. So Smanos is 2 turns out, 3 turns out. Yeah, I think that we are developing really well, actually. So there's no way we're going to be able to rush the behemoth. Each turn of production on the behemoth is just too much dust. Okay, is this the turn that we need to use our grants on? We could wait for next turn. Alright, a trace has begun. I'm not worried about that at all. It has to trace such an incredible distance. There's no way it makes it back to the source of the hack. You could pick up a whole lot of extra influence output or more food, which is the thing you definitely do not need. Of course, we could pick this up and then move Tsing to the new system as soon as it's founded and put the new governor back on Tsing where things are a little bit more settled. But I think we want to just keep Tsing as it is. It's where we're building the behemoth. I don't really want to lose the 2 industry per citizen. And we actually kind of need the influence as well. I think we're just going to pick up Rousing Orator. Try to build ourselves a nice influence bank to do stuff with, in case we need to do stuff. And you are on Othero, which has a population of 2, advancing slowly toward a not much larger number. Which means that probably this is not a good time for Optimal Operations Expert. What we need now is food, probably just flat food. This is only 10 food here, but it's still, like, significant. Okay, and then I think I want to colonize some more population space, probably. And then we can start talking about other stuff. Alright, so that's all under control. We have a cooperative quest to increase the galactic level of dust generation, and the winners get prizes that are so small as to be irrelevant. I'll be pretty happy to have... hopefully we'll be in a good place to win that, though, because I think we're really trying to kick our economy into overdrive at this point. And you can see it, like, our dust income is rising slowly while we're not building anything that produces dust. That's just sort of like the effect of trading companies. Hopefully we will be able to drive it to much higher values. Alright, go forth and continue to explore. We still do need to work an extra scout into the thing we're doing here somewhere. Not really sure where I want to put that together, because everybody's doing stuff that's actually, like, pretty important still. Alright, throw your weight behind the scientists. It looks like the scientists are going to fall out of the government for a 1 election cycle. Not ideal, but, like, we're not reliant on their laws or anything, so it's okay. Actually, the ecologists are not polling super high. If the ecologists fall out, I actually will be very bummed. Yeah, that sucks. Well, the species stability law is not good for us. I don't want our starting population to be the only one increasing. My precious is just a lot of extra luxury resources and money, so we'd like to run that. But we lost a ton of food by having the ecologists fall out. That's a thing we're going to have to fix. Stupid polling not being 100% accurate. Alright, IMAX, with the help of the behemoth, you need to get a hold of some more living space. We have population capped, and then do this. Probably do that in there. Yeah, and then we'll figure out what else afterward. Another trace is running, but that's fine. Burra Tech Seeker can probably start picking up OOE. Alright, let's look at our laws here. So we lost 2 ecologist laws that have combined the same cost as the My Precious precept. Sorry, the Ordinance for the Responsible Exploitation of Natural Resources. We have a fair number of systems that have multiple deposits of the blue cap mold, So I think we'd be wise to take this. And then, what do we want to do in this last slot? Like, is there anything super relevant? We could run the long-term knowledge program for a little while, but I think I want to keep developing our economy because we're using, like, we're on a pretty dust-based economy, right? We are actually buying stuff out all the time. I'm a little leery of damaging our output, especially, like, I don't want to be running a deficit because we don't want to be selling resources to keep ourselves afloat. We're selling resources to fund other ventures. Like, we're going to have a lot of things to do with money really soon here. Alright, and this is the turn, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and loan out these grants in exchange for stuff. I don't know what we want to do that, like who we want to do that with. You're basically cordial to us. Everybody's basically cordial to us. But these guys like us better because we have not forced anything on them. So do they have anything that we really want? Obviously, I would love to get a hold of some just raw dust. I think that's probably the place that we're in here. Like, what if I put the whole 2808, right? Yeah. The whole 2808 on the table and ask you for, like, 1,500 dust in return. Is this an acceptable exchange rate? It's really not. So this is like almost 3,000 dust right here, right? It's actually probably more than 3,000 dust right there. You're gonna have to go big on this. And she will not give us a fair amount of dust. I mean, like, we're going to be able to make a lot of money off of the adamantium and the titanium just on the market. This is really crummy. Okay, what about some map sharing? You show me your maps. Really? For 2,800 dust, you won't let me see your maps? Okay, we might just not be able to make a deal with you.
I am pleased to speak with you. May Tonatsi bless our discussions.
Yeah, we're definitely friends. That's what I think when I think of you. How about you? What about your maps for a huge amount of dust? You know, information's a currency. He also won't do that. We'd have to give him 3,600 of my own dust. Absolutely not. People are very protective of their money. We could, I suppose, just dump the grant on somebody for free. I don't really like that. That's weird. He's like, no, absolutely not. For 2,800 of your dust for none of my dust? No way. I'm not even thinking about it. Yeah, we're going to have a hard time making anything out of this. This did not turn out to be worth our contribution. I mean, I guess, except in the sense that, like, we have information now. Information's good. Maybe we should. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Maybe we should try to trade dust for resources that we can turn into other stuff. He will not even consider a single. Okay, hold on. That's a little more reasonable. He's just gonna ask me for 3,600 dust, no matter what, for everything. That's frustrating. How about? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Trying to right-click on the terms to get them off the table, but that is not how the video game works. What about some, like, lower tier stuff? What if you just gave me some titanium for this? Well, say, like, 50 titanium? I mean, it's not my money, right? What do I care if the exchange rate is bad? I'm just trying to get the best rate we can get. Jesus. 15. Yeah, it turns out the Academy grants aren't really worth anything because the AI don't care about dust. Okay, she doesn't have a lot of money. This might be a better place to make a deal. I have all of this dust. All of this Academy grant. I mean, with her, honestly, pushing back on influence pressure might be more sensible since she's actually our neighbor. She doesn't really have a whole lot that I want. I'm assuming that she's not going to be interested at all in sharing her... Oh, she's much more sensible than the others. Maybe that's what we're learning. let's say like 1,000 dust. I know this looks weird. I'm just like, hey, let's trade money for money. Oh, she's like extremely reasonable though. What about 1,500? Would you give me all of it? Is that a thing that we can do? I mean, it's still like a pretty damn good deal for her. Alright, that's maybe going too far. I'll take the 1,500 though. This is fine. Yeah, absolutely. And that deal was even a little bit in her favor, which she will remember. That will serve as a positive modifier on our future endeavors.
I am pleased that we could come to an agreement.
Okay, so we put in... we put in about 1,500 dust to get the title, right? So we basically just got all of our money back, and then also got some information that we didn't have. What did we learn here? Oh, well, we learned the location of another player. Another player that unfortunately I do not have a way of contacting yet, but now we know, like, we could get out there and meet them. And looks like that's really... She knows all of this, which is definitely interesting. Okay, so that was fine then. That turns out to have been like an okay investment. Not a very exciting one. That population ship arrived after we had filled IMEX up so much that they didn't have anywhere to land. But it's all right. We'll have a new planet for you presently. And this is the turn. Yeah, this is the turn when this finishes. So we put down on the Savannah world. Zosmanos 3 is incredibly productive, but it's also just a miserable place to live. I think I would rather put down on the food world. Although, if we put down on Zosmanos 3, we do have the antimatter coming in immediately. Wait, do we? Did I get that tech? Yes. Oh, that's right. We got that tech for free accidentally. Yeah, alright. We'll put down here and we will develop the food. And it helps that our base population type brings food with them. So we're definitely going to do some of that. And we are going to... Am I going to move the behemoth? This system is a little bit more established now. We probably don't need to keep the behemoth here. And they're expanding to a world that has actually a really good base population output. And we have 2 points of population in orbit, so like we'll immediately have more people. I think we can afford to move the behemoth. Let's give Zosmanos a little push. We could use the 20 food really badly, actually. Okay, and then I think we're going to send the Vine Fleet over to Ju here. Apparently there's a little system floating out in the middle of nowhere. Let's keep the needles with them. We still do need to vine that up. So this is the turn where we would like to buy out the trading company and then rush the other... and start to rush the other things. So... we also want to buy a governor. Do I have the option to do here? Oh, right, we can do this thing again. I'm not going to stress about it. It doesn't seem all that great. Once we know more players, it might be more relevant, I suppose, as we're trying to like set up our initial peace and diplomatic relationships with them. In fact, that's probably as we meet more as we like go to meet Green, we probably want to have a some academy grants to give them immediately. So for that reason, it might be worth contributing on this, but let's not bother right now. So as Zosmanos develops, we probably need the governor more. Let's start with that. And then we'll get the trading company set up right after. So what do we want? We have the industrialist party represented in the government right now, so it might be a good idea to get an industrialist political leader into the Senate. No, wait, religious party. We have the religious party represented right now. So like a youth social overseer who is religious versus a guardian technologist. These guys are really expensive. I guess we drove the prices up by buying heroes. Maybe I don't want to bother then with those. Maybe I want to get one who's more amenable to our long-term goals, who is a little cheaper. Like, what do we have in terms of actual cash here? Okay, we could afford one of the expensive heroes. How much are these selling for right now? 108. Those are 203. Jeez. Yeah, we actually have a lot of money here. I'm just gonna go ahead and sell all this stuff. So, as a youth social, will have some approval boost right away, although it's population based, so it's not going to be very strong initially. I think we'll take him. Plus 10 food per anomalies on colonized planets. Do we have anomalies on our initial world here? We don't, nor do we have anomalies on the other colonizable world. It's our other option. If we wanted a religious senator, we could get Wangamoto. And your deal is just flat science, and you have industry, and like a relevant industry skill immediately. And then eventually a percentage industry boost in a system that is mostly hot planets. So we're gonna have a very high flat industry value here, because like look at the per population industry values on these worlds. I'm actually thinking he might be the way to go. Alright, let's do that. Wangamoto. We don't always have to get food from our governor. Sometimes the citizens can handle that. So, welcome to your assignment. The academy has gained in power, it looks like, because now heroes that we're buying are coming out at level 2, which is cool. Do we want to grab... This will be 10 industry immediately versus... Oh, versus optimal operations expert. Yeah, it's a total no-brainer. And then he'll also be able to give us like big science boosts here. Obviously, like expedition management is not totally ideal on this system, but I like his industry focus. So he'll work on that, and then we still have enough dust left over to buy this thing out. No, we don't. For some reason, I was thinking it was only 5k. We can make that happen. We could try to negotiate with another player. For these, like I said, we might be able to actually get more money out of a player. But, as you have seen, negotiating with other players can be a tedious task. Is it 9.8? Yeah, 9.8. Okay. Well, we can make that happen. I don't want to sell more of these than we have to. So we can... we will not be able to build the subsidiary until after that finishes, so... And obviously, we want to build that subsidiary with money rather than industry, if at all possible. Got those good settling techs. Oh, there's another system floating out here in the dark. Unfortunately, a system with no resources that is also cold, although we don't actually know that it has no resources. There's an unknown life form curiosity, which is suggestive, probably... Oh, interesting. Look at all these shipping platforms. There's some undiscovered stuff there. That might actually be good. Alright, I am guarding this. Please do not start any shit here. You know, we're just gardening. It's just space gardening. Don't panic. I didn't realize how many tentacles this man had. Alright, it's fine. He's probably fine. You know, some people got tentacles. Don't judge. I'm a strong believer in not tentacle shaming. So, do we want to go to Xeno-Industrial Infrastructure, which is only going to be 20 industry, or do we just want to jump straight to Predictive Logistics, which is obviously better and will get better as we take over Othera 3? We should probably do them both. I guess let's do this one, then this one, because the 20 industry from this will help us build that faster. We might even want to grab Othera 3 in the middle there, so it will help get Predictive Logistics done. No, we probably want to get that in first. Alright. So we do have access to public 3D printing now, when we run out of important stuff to build. And we're 9 turns from those sweet, sweet microwave pipes. It almost has to be the case that I overvalue them, right? I may as well grab the last world here. Interplanetary transport network, still quite bad. AI labor, on the other hand, is actually pretty reasonable. Almost every planet here is sterile, so we get some pretty good value out of this thing. And we're not near our population cap. We can do this way. We are, however, getting close to not having ecstatic approval anymore. I don't know if that matters all that much. Like, partially in the sense that there's not a ton we could do about it. I guess we could start running Make Love Not War. We do have peace with 3 players. We should do this. That's 30 approval. That'll keep us real happy everywhere. And all of those food boosts are real valuable. So we're at now 6 of 8. And we're way past 100 approval. We could afford to go probably up to 9 or 10 colonized systems before we'd have to start worrying about this. And I do intend to continue building out pretty aggressively. This might be an okay time, actually, to build that scout. Maybe, like, on Zeturbia, we'll build a scout real quick after finishing predictive logistics, and then we'll go into other stuff. So let's make sure our scout design is good. We can definitely make them faster. Unfortunately, we really just can't do too much more than that, right? Yeah. That's a shame. We don't have any better probe modules or anything. Okay, throw one of these in the queue, and then, honestly, it is probably just grab the other 2 planets, because we are approaching population cap, and then, like, xenotourism is awesome here. Actually, xenotourism maybe even before the other planets. We have 3 population space left at 191 food. We might cap very briefly, although keep in mind, we're looking at these numbers without the 40 extra industry from predictive logistics. We're probably fine. Alright, so a trade company subsidiary. 7.5k to rush it. We do not have the resources for that just yet. So once you have some trading companies going, and you've started to make some kind of friendly relationship with other people, and it seems like for the most part, the Vaulters are cool with us now, despite us having forced that peace on them. It begins to be worth thinking about trade agreements. When you run a trade agreement with another player, all of their trading HQs run trade routes to your subsidiaries and vice versa, and that can produce a lot of extra money, especially if you're neighbors. You can sometimes have problems if you do it with somebody who's not a neighbor, where there's just like a ton of space in between you and them, and like a planet somewhere gets blockaded by pirates and it screws everything up. But like if we were to run trade with the Vaulters, it would probably be really, really profitable for us.
Be content. Fortune smiles. For
This is
Horatio is willing to speak with you.
a little hard to read. I probably went a little too dark on that purple. Okay, so we discovered a Horatio ship up here. Somewhere up here. They probably just flew past as they were coming to investigate. That's good to know. This is Nair, where we're just installing another sleeper. On Artemis, we're going to backdoor, I think, right? And then try to run hacks out to Primus and Duyel to install more sleepers from there. And that'll make it harder for them to tell who is hacking them. So on IMEX, what is your population? How have you've grown to 4, with some room to expand and some food going in. So it might be worth taking Optimal Operations Expert over Blue Sky Speculator. Like, the flat science obviously is good right now. It's as good right now as it will ever be. I'm gonna grab this though. Food and industry. It's just like, it's very hard to not want to be food and industry. And I think what you're doing right now is fine. Yeah, we're developing. We're developing in all sorts of places. That scout will be out next turn. We have a lot of things we need to scout, it turns out. Plus 428 per turn, you know, it continues to grow. So where could we get to now if we sold stuff? 3.4k off of the mushrooms. These mid-tier resources are selling extremely well. We don't even need to sell the mushrooms. We could probably just... Well, these are not quite going to cover it, right? Because we have to get to 7.5. Actually, these are just about going to cover it. So let's get that active, and then from here we probably want to grab the Savannah world. Yeah, we want to colonize these two first. Well, yeah, we'll figure it out after that from there. Probably it's Xeno-industrial infrastructure and public-private partnerships after that, because we do have a temperate world mixed in there. Oh, and this could be specialized to industrial zones. That's a thing that's very cheap to do, and will have some good value. Okay. Economic Behemoth is 5 turns away. We might be able to buy the last turn off of this or something, but I don't know that it would necessarily be worth it. Oh, we should prioritize that. We could actually be growing here. And in fact, should we send population to... We probably should, right? Let's mail some Unfallen out to... what do you call it? The new one, Zosmanos, which has a ton of room for population. That should... Let's see here. We want this planet to be completely filled with Calgaros because we don't need the extra approval from them being on the fertile worlds, and I would rather have the bonus food. Even though we're no longer growing population on Sing, like after a certain point, obviously. Once we get to the cap, it's still the case that like food production feeds into manpower. We are not gaining manpower at the moment because our manpower thing is full because we're never building ships or using them in combat. But if we get into a situation where we do start spending manpower, we want that thing to be refilling constantly, right? So we are 1 turn away from the Artemis hack finishing. I guess I just want to run another hack to Nair, right? We want to run it from far enough away that a traceback is unlikely. Like, Zeturbia to Nair is 9 turns. Whereas, like, Othero to Nair is only 8 turns. Okay, so I'm willing to pay 1 extra turn for the amount of trace distance we acquire by doing it this way. Alright. That should be fine. I'm very pleased to have the resources coming in for the microwave pipes, and like we're actually going to be able to build a lot of microwave pipes really quickly, which is always great. And what we can now be plowing our dust into is buying freighters for the second trade company to get them producing stuff as quickly as possible. So let's create a back door on Artemis, and then we could hack yellow from here. We probably want to put enough sleepers in the Valter Empire to actually get the bonus, right? Primus is their primary system. What is the thing that happens when you install sleepers in somebody's primary system? Is that the one that also gives you vision of their fleets? That might be useful. So that's a 9-turn hack. This is a 6-turn hack, and the distances aren't really that different. I might want to just run them out to Duyel, and let's make sure that we install an accelerator on Duyel. What is the cost of an accelerator? It is 15 bandwidth, which we do not have, so we'll be at 70 once this activates. And these hacks are going to hit simultaneously. So I guess we'll just leave no accelerator on Nair. That's probably fine, actually. I don't think we're in any danger of getting traced back. Well, let's continue to follow this. We're learning so much about the galaxy around us here. So, trading company. Let's go ahead and Deep Space Holding is already producing as much money as the Miosian Assets Group, just because its route is longer. So, dust and science income or luxury and science income? Well, we're very much in on the dust thing here. We could buy another freighter. Higher levels contribute to the overall income of a company. And obviously we're growing into having a third company. I don't know where we'll set that stuff up. Let's make a small resource sale. We need like 90 just to get a second freighter in on this right now. Jeez, we are producing these at an incredible rate. That's not what I wanted. This tab. There we go. Alright, so not only do they contribute to the dust output, but that thing will keep growing, and that will contribute to the dust output. So I'm not 100% clear on the formulas. Here we go. We can see here, it's a little tricky to just get the trade value. Each system has a number that is its trade value, the value that it adds to trade routes that run through it, modified by a bunch of factors. So you can see here the trade efficiency, which is the modifier applied to the system's trade value before it is added into the trade routes output, I think, is based on a number of factors here. Like, you want to have a governor, you want to have system population, the system level matters, the number of colonized systems nearby matters. So this system has some trading efficiency. If we zoom in here, can we get even more information? Not really. But it's at like 3 of 5. Because probably 12 is not a ton of system population. I do like that it just tells you, like, flat out, here is what your hero is doing for this system. They do a really good job of conveying a lot of information in this game. It's just that there's so much information to convey. There's so many systems, so many things going on, that it's there's still stuff that I'm not clear on, because they can only jam so much information into the UI. So when we start to get close to the end of the Academy bidding period, we'll buy in. We don't want to buy in all at once. We'll do like a soft bid one turn and then check the percentages next turn and get an estimate of how much we would actually have to put in to get the whole, to actually get our roll. A cabal of scientists and visionaries. Well, I am inclined not to take reject because I really don't want to put any more religious pressure into our system. That's going to result in loss of a lot of influence, but a gain of a ton of science, which I think is a thing that we want anyway. So we'll be operating at a smaller influence gain. If you're wondering why that didn't push us negative, it's because it will not... This is not the node to click on. Here we go. It will not reduce a system's influence to negative, and a bunch of our systems already were not producing 15 influence, so it just reduced them to 0. We didn't actually end up losing 15 influence per system. It was somewhat less than that. We're gaining population. We hit... Okay, we hit 20 Calgros. Oh no, we hit 10 Calgros. Well, that's not great. I don't like that. You know what I would love to do is actually hit more Nearest. We should probably put some effort into making sure Nearest are getting out to the new systems.
Is something pure, isn't it?
Okay, she likes us.
Always pleased to have contact with honorable friends.
It's entirely possible. We don't really have a great view of like what all is going on in his empire. It may well be the case that he has other problems, and so like having someone that he at least feels like has his back is cool, even though he doesn't like that we forced him into it. You know, he's the he show. He's probably at war with one of his neighbors, and it's nice to have somebody you feel is on your side. Okay, so where are my nearest population? I don't actually know. Are they in this system? They are. Okay, so we have the ability to produce more nearest. What is their preferred resource is the Eden incense. We don't have any, but there are few enough of these guys that we can definitely just buy some, boost their chance of reproducing. And then once there's a few more of them on that system, we can start splitting them up and try to tend their numbers upward. I'm going to also make sure that we are getting all of our systems to level 2. Which ones are not? It is still Zosmanos. Zosmanos could be level 2. And then we're going to need another one of these boosts, like, relatively soon, obviously. Actually, was that a good idea? Do I desperately need that colony? No, this is not one of the systems that was getting near its cap. Also, I forgot to actually launch this scout out of here. We should probably do that. I think the most important thing he can do right now... Sorry, you can do right now is get to Indusa and tell me whether this is a system that I want to vine up soon. Will we grow out to Cygnus? Maybe. There's more luxuries there, which is nice. Maz also has... Actually, could we... be the same number of turns? What are the planet types at Maz? There's a large ash world and a tiny jungle that has a guardian. We are close to having a 5th guardian, but obviously like that collection bonus is not super worthwhile. I think we do want to check out Indusa first. And we still need to meet this guy. Wait, actually, one thing that's cool about going to Indusa is that we'll be able to fire a probe over here to meet him. So yeah, I do think I like it that way. 3 turns away from having the behemoth, and then once we have the behemoth and we've expanded to this, we could build a scout up here as well, probably. Actually, hold on, what am I thinking? We need vine ships up here. And we could probably just... it's a long flight back for just that node, and then to have them fly back out here. Obviously, I do want to grab that node, but we might indeed just build 1 or 2 vine ships up there after things have calmed down a little bit and grab that. Okay, so is there anything we want to do with our dust this turn? I mean, we're about to need to buy another governor, so I guess we can just hold off. We're doing a really good job here of tending all of the numbers in an upward direction, which you know I have very strong feelings about. Okay, so that's all vined up. Where do we want to settle in here? Probably the jungle world? What's up with this barren one? It has aurora waves and a high energy plasma sphere. So 0, 1, 4, 16. Not exactly great for growing the system. I think we want to put down on the jungle world. Oh, there's a guardian here. We should probably awaken him. So yeah, we'll start with that. That is a fertile but not temperate world. I mean, hot and temperate is also fine. We cannot explore Guardian Curiosities from the planet menu.
It is refreshing to see that we are not the only sentients in the galaxy.
Okay, they're saying they're probably going to offer us a scientific agreement.
The cold dark of space is made
We
warm
probably can't afford to run one of these anytime soon. Unfortunately, we're going to have to... I mean, we're getting close to having the technologies to get more influence out of buildings, and also our heroes are beginning to really unlock their best influence skills, so we'll get there on that. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, who wants to be the governor of the new world? It's like prices are... Okay, they're not so bad right now. I know it's boring. In general, I really like overseers. So we could just grab, like, this guy. We don't actually have a ton of overseers available. We could get a Riftborn. Nice big flat industry boost. Percentage dust boost is always cool. Lots and lots of science, and also science. I don't know if you knew there's going to be more science. Particularly, they like to be where there are anomalies, which is the case in the new system. And then, yeah, wow. Okay. I like you a lot. I like Pi. 7.2k. Can we make that happen? Yeah. Shouldn't be a problem. Honestly, we can afford to sell all of this. Let's get you in there. And we can even rush some of this early system building along. We have quite a lot of money. Although maybe we'd be better off plowing that money into the trade companies. You know, long-term growth here. It'll be a few turns before we're able to set up another trading company. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then a couple couple of freighters into this one. Okay, we should also make this system level 2. I'm just going to go ahead and do that immediately. We'll get that extra science rolling. I did not look. What is your initial skill? Okay, so pretty good eventually, not amazing right this second. Look at that, we are developing. We don't know if anybody has been continuing to develop on the constellation. It's not super obvious because there are parts of... Actually, no, never mind. The constellation ends over here. I think there are few enough systems that we probably could not lose it now. Right, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 systems that are actually on the constellation. So we could be beaten. If the Vaulters got all 5 of them, they would have 9 systems to our 7. But that assumes that we don't get any of them. I think we're probably going to hold on to that bonus, which is cool. It's a good bonus. Do we want to move the Behemoth over to Zoo? I don't think so. I think we still need the food here. Zoo has a better starting planet type. It'll develop sensibly. All right. Chance to increment. So you can see, like, there's a... Come on, give me that tooltip back. It's weird how hard it is to get the tooltips to pop sometimes. You can see there's a chance to increment for each population type. When a new population is generated, whichever one has the highest chance to increment is the thing, the population type that is born. We have increased the rate at which that value grows for the nearest here, but they're still... They'll probably overtake... Yeah, they'll overtake the Harasham value by the time population point 15 is born. I think we can afford to move one of the nearest without affecting that. 150 plus 100. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to send one of the nearest to Zoo. Just get you guys spread out a little. It's going to be a minute, but... Get these guys spread out, give them population, give them space to grow, help reinforce the ecologist population growth, or the ecologist population. I don't need to do this, but again, I guess, like, if it's a strategic resource and we get a little bit of it that we can sell, that's probably a good reason. So do we want to grab Indusa? I mean, we don't necessarily have to settle on it, and we do want to continue to vine things as much as possible. So yeah, I think we'll send the vine ships out to do that. I don't think that we need to send the needles along with. I think we'll keep the needles over here just in case the Vaulters try something sneaky. I want to be in some kind of position to defend myself as bad as we would be at it. Alright, and with that, I think we maybe have a video here. So, we're developing our trading companies. They're not amazing yet, but they're going to continue leveling up as they gain more income, they gain more XP. As they gain more XP, they gain more income. So you get this nice feedback loop going, and eventually you'll start to see these numbers really skyrocket. But it takes a while, which is why you want to establish them if you're trying to rely on trade companies for income, which I might argue that you need to do if you are going to have a reliable shot at an economic victory. You really need to establish them as quickly as possible, because it does take a little while for this feedback loop to get going. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I don't know if we are in a strong position here. It feels like a pretty strong position, but it is definitely a much more stable position than we were in with the Nakalim. Like, we have a plan, and it is pretty much going the way we want it to go. Come back next time, tomorrow, to see if anybody around us decides that that should no longer be the case. And we'll see you then.